Fix these items, a home inspection checklist when you are responsible for a loved one's home after their passing. That's our topic today. We'll get started right after this. When selling a home of someone who has passed away, there are things that I recommend. They're cost-effective repairs that will help to have more buyer interest and also get a higher price for your loved one's home. My name is Kim Ward. I am the broker owner of Horizon Real Estate's Probate and Trust Help. My team and I, what we do is we help with homes of someone who has passed away, and we help our executor, administrator, and trustee clients. When you are selling a home, sometimes people want to get an inspection report before they put the home on the market. Honestly, I don't recommend that. I recommend that you have an experienced real estate professional go through the home and note things that could be improved upon. And the reason that I do this, and I call it cost-effective repairs, is because buyers tend to way overestimate the cost of some relatively minor repair. And in that case, they're going to ask for potentially a large credit, or they may even, if you can't come to a meeting of the minds on the concern they have, they may back out of the transaction, and then you start all over again. When selling a home to a traditional buyer, VA, FHA, or conventional buyer, it's important here in California, one of the things that you have to do is make sure there's a smoke detector in every single bedroom, a smoke detector in the hallway outside of the bedrooms, and one in the general area of the home, an additional one. The other thing is carbon monoxide detectors, or CO2 detectors. For every level of the home, you must have a CO2 detector. So if you have a 2-story home, one on the first level, one on the second level. And the reason for this is because the appraisers are going to come into the home and they will make an appraisal condition if you don't have these things installed. The next thing that the appraisers are looking for also is a properly strapped water heater. And that means 2 straps on the water heater. Reason for this is if we should happen to have an earthquake, the shaking won't make the water heater tip over and cause even more damage. In some cases, you're going to also need to have a pan to catch some water that would come out of the water heater if it should overflow or something happens, especially if the water heater is inside the property, not in the garage or something like that. In some cases, you want to consider correcting some windows if they are fogged, cracked, broken in some way. That said, we recently just sold a home, or helped our seller to sell a home in La Mesa, and one of the windows, that was a dual pane window, one of them was completely broken and not there, and the buyers did not request a new window, which kind of surprised me. Let's talk about electrical. A simple fix. And we make sure this happens with all of our homes that are typically vacant because we work with homes in probate or trust administration. We change out the light bulbs, or we put better wattage light bulbs in all of the lighting so that the home looks better. It's a pretty easy and inexpensive fix. And the reason we do this also is because when the appraiser's in the home and let's say the light in the kitchen looks like it's burned out instead of just needs a bulb, the appraiser may note it as inoperational when it just needs a light bulb. So we avoid that. In most cases, we're going to want to make sure that there are GFCI outlets, ground fault circuit interrupter outlets by any water sources. We can do that ahead of time, or we can wait until the inspection happens, and if it gets called out, then we'll need to change it because it's a health and safety issue. Next is the heating and air conditioning system, or HVAC system. We're going to want to do our best to make sure that they are in good working order. A couple of years ago, we were helping with a home in the Chula Vista area here of San Diego, and we had SDG&E come in and take a look at the heater, and they red tagged it, meaning that it was in terrible condition It was probably 40, 45 years old, and it really needed replaced. So we knew that that wasn't working prior to putting the home on the market. And what did we do? We got our trusted HVAC technician to come in, give a quote to replace the furnace. I think it was $2,400, instead of waiting until the buyers discovered in the inspection that the furnace wasn't operational and they might have wanted $5,000. So we get ahead of these things. When we have a furnace that is in operational condition, we always recommend looking at the filter. Changing out a less than $5 filter makes a big difference during the inspection because it gives the impression that the whole system has been cared for when you have a brand new filter in there. Next, we look at the bathrooms. We want to get any cracked grout or missing grout or missing caulk or really dirty caulk corrected prior to putting the home on the market. Again, this is a pretty inexpensive fix that just makes the buyer feel more comfortable with the condition of the bathroom. Appliances. Of course, we want to make sure that the refrigerator's clean. If we can get the coils underneath it or in the back, that's an extra plus. Any burners that aren't working on the stove, getting those corrected, or even we have changed out the little pans of the coil electric ones, just so it looks fresh and new. It's easy to order that from Amazon, costs about $25, and we've installed them ourselves because it's not a hard fix, and it makes a difference on how the buyer sees the property. While we're in the kitchen, many of the older homes, they have the 2x4, they're those brittle plastic panels for the light box. Much of the time they're yellowed or cracked. We change those out. They have gotten more expensive over the years. I think they're around $15 a piece, but changing them out for some new bright white panel covers makes more light in the kitchen, which more light means more money, and it just looks much better than a cracked or yellowed panel cover. We hope you will consider subscribing, hitting that bell button to be notified of our weekly videos, and also like and comment. By doing this, you are helping the algorithm to share this content to others like you who are responsible for a loved one's home. And we hope you find this of value, and our goal is to help educate as many people as possible about this. And as I continue to give away all of our secrets that we developed over decades of helping with homes in probate or trust administration, the next thing is to make sure that the oven is clean. Most ovens have a self-cleaning feature, so it's not that difficult to flip the thing over and push whatever buttons and make sure the oven's clean. And that way, when the cleaning people come in to clean the whole house, because we don't do that, they just wipe out the bottom of the ash that's in there from the self-cleaning, and you have a nice clean oven. You also want to check the garbage disposal. I don't know how this happens, but many garbage disposals get frozen, and it's simple to take the key that's at the bottom. Hopefully it's still there, or get a key from someplace else. And you twist it at the bottom of the garbage disposal, and that loosens up the blades. So when the inspection happens, the garbage disposal is in working order instead of frozen from some reason. If there's a pool in the house, you definitely want to get the pool looked at. Make sure that all of the equipment is in working order and that the pool is nice and bright blue and nice and clean prior to putting the home on the market. We almost always recommend getting a licensed termite inspector to the house so that we have a termite report prior to looking at offers. The reason for this is many buyers will want a Section 1 termite clearance, and I don't like negotiating for something that I don't know how much it's going to cost the estate. So we almost always get a termite report up front, and that way we'll know how many thousands of dollars the estate will need to pay to provide a buyer with the termite report. And then some miscellaneous repairs are to check all the stair railings, make sure they're tight. And if it's a 2-story home and there's chair railings, maybe check those to make sure that they're secure. In the bathroom, the shower diverter it goes from the tub up to the shower, make sure that that's in working order, because if it needs replaced, a plumber will charge some money to do that, but it's going to get called out in the inspection anyway, so you might as well replace it up front. Still in the bathroom, make sure that the toilets are secure and not leaking. And we always check the toilet seat. If it's in kind of funky condition, we ask our sellers to pay to have it replaced. We always try to check the garage door, the beams, the sensors to make sure that they're in working order, because the inspector is going to hit the button in the garage and put something in front of those beams, and if the door keeps coming down, that's going to get called out. And most of the time it's just a simple adjustment to make sure the beams are lined up. And the last thing that I can think of is checking your gutters to make sure that they're clear, because the inspector may look at those also. And if it's the rainy season, you want your gutters to be working properly so that it doesn't cause water damage to the home. That's our checklist for you. We hope you found this of value. Again, I'm Kim. Please like, comment, subscribe, ask us questions, and we hope to see you here next week.